Concerns are heightened over the sometimes unpredictable climatic conditions all over the world, with the very strong tropical storm of over 130 miles per hour forecast to reach hurricane status, moving in the eastern Atlantic off the coast of West Africa. I was with the former Minister of Finance in Nigeria, Kalu Idika Kalu, who doesn't seem confident in the country's emergency plans.
The world is beginning to have some unpredictable weather conditions. For instance, what has just happened in Cape Verde, which is off the coast of West Africa, which Nigeria is also in that map. And it's a lot scary when it comes to our preparedness and what is on ground for us to be able to attack issues when they come unexpectedly. Do you think the country is really prepared to handle issues of nature when they come calling?
Do we even need Cape Verde to warn us that we need to pay attention? I think we probably started off very well, but it all comes to stewardship and sustainability, you know, getting the right personnel. We are building Eco-Atlantic here, for instance. Everybody worries what will happen. As I said, I envisage that the Niger Delta should be built up like Dubai and so on, you know, and you know the coastal areas, what it looks like. So we hardly need a Cape Verde event to remind us of the necessity to monitor, to study, to research into weather conditions so that scarce resources that are allocated to doing some of these massive projects will not be lost by just the vagaries of weather changes. So, and the people in science and technology and the people in meteorology services and so on, they have to be on their toes. I mean, President Obama has taken a trip to Alaska. This is all pursuant of this issue of global warming and the sea warming and rising and flooding, and then the impact it has on the environment and the fauna and the vegetation and wild resources, fishes and animals and so on and so forth. And as I said, as a major country, that is what it takes to be a major country. We have to explicitly look at some of these issues and allocate resources appropriately. And I believe we do have the resources. We have enough resources. Once we determine that the project is viable, we can leverage on it because it's going to pay off. So we can't say it's beyond our budget. A lot of these things are within our budget. If we can't get started on them, then we can't expect small African countries to be doing these things for us. So,
with the level of development that Nigeria has attained, don't you think the country should begin to look at the issue of, yes, of technology, of engineering, of trying to do our things ourselves and not buying off the markets?
You can't be among the top countries of this world without having your own independent research in every field: agriculture, manufacturing, science and technology. Recently we were talking about producing weapons. We have to do our own research. It's always a thorny issue because you are so conscious of the fact that you are lacking in so many things. And at times people don't understand the necessity to research. They think, no, why are you researching? You should just buy what's on the market. But I agree with you that we can't launch satellites because others are launching it. We have to launch it because it helps us weather, in agriculture, in every other field, you know, where gathering the data from such satellites can save you millions and millions of naira and so on and so forth. And again, as we are saying, this cannot be just grandiose projects just to be counted among those who are launching satellites. When we do that, we have to make sure that it's the people who understand what needs to be done. And we have Nigerians within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. Many of them are involved in space research out there. We should make every effort to mobilize them. So once you start the program, even if you don't want to go fast, but at least it should be sustained. All the effort should be cumulative, should be additional. It's not something that you do and you start from scratch. By the time you start again, you abandon it, and then the buildings are decrepit, the equipment are obsolete, and so on. But if you have the right personnel who know what needs to be done, once you make that initial investment, you can continue to allocate more resources and build up the knowledge, the capability, the capacity, and the corresponding utility of these facilities. So it's what needs to be done.
West Africa is made up of Nigeria and 17 other countries. There are fears that Cape Verde storm may have some implications on the continent if not checked.
Cape Verde is just about 500 kilometers west of Senegal, and that's very close to Nigeria also in terms of geography. We should be concerned because a hurricane is a very dangerous natural phenomenon. And when you have a hurricane, usually you have loss of life, massive destruction of property, you have flooding, you have high winds. Even those who live on the riverbanks or near the ocean, there are ocean surges that come with hurricane. So all these things are very devastating to humans, to infrastructure, to economies. So we need to be worried because this is the first time that is happening this close to West Africa. In the history of the world, there was an unconfirmed report of another hurricane in 1892. But back then we didn't have the sophisticated equipment we have now. We didn't have satellite imagery to confirm that that was indeed a hurricane. So this is the first confirmed report that we have that there's been a hurricane and it's happening in an area where it has never happened before, closest to west coast of Africa. It's a threat to everyone on the western coast of Africa because if you look at the reasons why we have a hurricane like this one, you would find that those reasons persist, which means that there is a likelihood that we'll have more hurricanes in the months and years to come. The hurricane season usually ends on November 30th in every year in this tropical Atlantic region. So we still have a few months of the hurricane season. More hurricanes will come. Whether they will come this close to us is anybody's guess at this point. But we do know as a matter of certainty that you're going to have more hurricanes because the season is just started. There will be more hurricanes. So we need to begin to look at what that means for us in Nigeria and in some of the other countries in West Africa. If we're going to have more hurricanes in this region, then we need to begin to prepare our minds. We need to begin to prepare our resources, our procedures to deal with hurricanes. Now, for most of the time between Africa and the U.S., continental U.S., the Americas, North America, U.S., South America, Brazil, all those places. So that's where you tend to have the bigger concentration of hurricanes. If you go to the other side, to the Asian region, you tend to have typhoons and other kinds of things. So this is the region where it typically starts. But the difference in this one is that it's coming to the easternmost part of the ocean, which is where Africa is. When it falls to the west, it's the Americas. East is Africa. So this one is coming to the easternmost part of Africa. So that is a concern for everybody. The second reason why we think this is happening, every few years we have a weather phenomenon we call El Nino. The El Nino phenomenon is basically a seasonal phenomenon where atmospheric conditions will warm up ocean temperature. So as we said before, if the ocean temperature is warm and the air is also warm, those two can combine to form a hurricane. So this year, that's why we're having a lot of hurricanes. We already knew when we predicted that this would be an El Nino year that we'll have more hurricanes. We've seen some other hurricanes, even in the U.S. We had hurricane in South America, Hurricane Erika in South Dominican Republic killed dozens of people, destroyed property, and there will be other hurricanes in this region.
Report says it is rare for islands as Cape Verde to witness a hurricane, a reality of climate change. Human rights activist Joseph Ever wants government to double up efforts in saving the environment and its people, while asking that a searchlight is beamed on all agencies involved in emergency management.
What happened in 2011 especially the flood that came, and Nigerians were helpless. Now, the most important thing we should note during that flooding, United Nations did not come to our rescue. Why? Because they know that in the Nigerian society, people are not interested in taking care of tomorrow. They are only interested in today. The United Nations did not come. When we see things happen like that in other countries, the United Nations will mobilize materials, relief materials, mobilize personnel and experts to go and save the situation. But in our situation in 2011, no foreign body, especially the United Nations, that we have a department that move into such type of natural disasters that help countries did not come to our situation. So it is better our government now take this management of emergency situations serious, and we should prepare for this environmental, climate change that we are shouting every day. Climate change every day. You open your TV, you open your radio, you open your newspapers. Everything that you talk about is climate change, climate change, climate change. What is our own? What are we prepared for it? Are we prepared for it? Are we prepared to save the future generation when we are no more? It is missing, and it is unfortunate. What is happening at the Atlantic, Eco-Atlantic City? We want the state government, we want the federal government to be interested in what the state government is doing, and they should now come up with the environmental impact assessment. We should all study the environmental impact assessment. This is a country that has no value for national libraries, no value for archives. If not, the way the lagoon, the Lagos lagoon was dredged, and that protection is now saving the marina. Before that area was sandfield and dredged, the waterfront was just in front of the National Post Office. But today, look at the meters that was sandfield protecting the post office and other things along that very line. If we have the archives, we compare it to what the Eco-Atlantic City people are doing now, we now have that confidence that these people are doing these things to even safeguard the future generation, even to the next 200 million years. But just a thing is missing now, and nobody is asking questions. Where is the environmental impact assessment? You base this your sandfilling at the Babish and what you are doing. Where is the environmental impact assessment? We need to know. We are stakeholders in Lagos. Everybody contributed to what you are seeing as far as Lagos is concerned. Where is the environmental impact assessment? We want to study it. Nothing is happening as far as that situation is concerned. If our generation is no more, what happened to our children? We should be interested, and we should ask the federal government and the Lagos state government that whatever area you temper with natural, especially the Atlantic Ocean or anything within the coast of West Africa, within our own jurisdiction, we all Nigerians, we are interested in what are you doing, because it is for our future.
Many and varied solutions to climate change have been proposed to include energy conservation measures, renewable energy, and carbon sequestration.
The issue of climate change, every international forum, especially the countries like Russia, UK, America, those who call themselves mighty powers, anywhere they gather, climate change, the issue of climate change, United Nations, every day they beat the drum. Climate change, climate change, climate change, climate change, climate change, climate change, climate change. You are talking about climate change. Our society here in Nigeria, the most populous country in Black Africa, part of our country is facing the Atlantic Ocean. Climate change education is nowhere to be found. It is very dangerous. And we are asking this government, it is not too much, because without the environment, you can't have government. You can't have society to manage people. So they should be interested in what the environment and how we are going to prepare for any emergency. We need that education. Minister of Environment should not just be how to provide pipe-borne water, how to provide borehole. No! The Minister of Environment should to tell us how prepared we are as far as in climate change is concerned. Without that, what is the need for Ministry of Environment or Minister of Environment coming to talk about borehole and providing dams and all that? The scientific world now that we are now also appreciating is bigger than dams and how to handle pipe-borne water and how to provide irrigation and all that. That is what we are telling the new government.